Welcome to Crosstalk, another opportunity to bring yet another conversation. This is a platform that looks into issues that shape our nation in sober and candid manner. The greatness of a nation lies in its fidelity to the Constitution, strict adherence to the rule of law, and above all, the fear of God. Those were the words of Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga on September 1st, 2017, when he made history by leading the Supreme Court's majority in nullifying Kenya's presidential election. Today, I have the rare opportunity to sit down with him, not as a former judge on the bench, but as a man who is seeking to lead Kenya from the front. Welcome, retired Chief Justice.
Thank you very much, John.
Also with us in studio is a panel of experts drawn from different sectors of our economy. They will be asking tough questions and even challenging the former CJ's views through their own professional lenses. And of course, we want to hear from you too. Do you believe retired Chief Justice David Maraga has what it takes to lead Kenya? You can share your views on our SMS line 20316. Our WhatsApp line is 0786 316 316, and we'll be sampling some of your comments as we progress with this conversation. But before then, allow me to introduce our panel. I have Waithera Gaido. She is an evangelist and marketplace leader who describes her mission as Biblia na Biashara, integrating the gospel with enterprise for lasting impact. She's the founder of Purpose and Identity, a faith-based movement for young Christian entrepreneurs and professionals aged between 13 and 35 that nurtures spiritual growth and economic empowerment through praise, prayer, and enterprise. Amazing. Welcome. Also with me is the Executive Director of Eshimika Foundation. Eshimika Foundation is an organization dedicated to affirming human dignity, professional integrity, and social accountability for personal, professional, and public excellence across urban Africa. Welcome, Yula. With me as well is Tekin Seiko, who is a lawyer and data protection scholar. Welcome, Seiko. With us as well is a team of young people who are aspiring leaders of this nation, and they'll be engaging with us as well in this conversation. But before we get there, just getting back to the greatness of a nation lies in its fidelity to the Constitution, as was spoken then in 2017. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
I just want to pick it from there before we get into your aspiration to lead this nation. When you talk about the fidelity of a nation, for me, there are some instances when you are at the Supreme Court where you did express that that fidelity of our Constitution, but it didn't go well with the executive. What were some of the things that were pushing you to have a courage to live by the book?
Thank you very much, John. What drove me to that is my oath of office. I took an oath to serve the Kenyans, and I thought that the way to serve them is to do what the Constitution requires. Mm-hmm. Article 3 of the Constitution requires everyone, and more so state officers, to uphold and defend the Constitution. So in the case that was before us, the highest court and perhaps the most important, litigation that would ever come to courts, a petition against the president. I thought that is the place where you should make it very clear that we are governed by the rule of law. Mm-hmm. We are to comply with the Constitution. Mm-hmm. So that's what gave me courage, and of course my mind was that to do the right thing.
But that didn't go well with the executive then.
Yes, yeah. That didn't go well with the executive. Mm-hmm. I was not there to please them. I was there to serve the Kenyans. Mm-hmm. The Kenyans had voted. And in elections, you know what matters most is the will of the people. Mm-hmm. If the will of the people is not done, and you are seated there as a judge, you are literally going against them. Mm-hmm. And I swore never to do that. Mm-hmm. Yes.
But when you look at that and your cooperation and relationship with the executive, there's some things that it did to the judiciary as an arm of government, where you did face a lot of budget cuts. And that affected the operation of the judiciary. So your critics will say you issued very strong, bold statements, but there were minimal results that we could say this is what you did within your tenure.
Yes. You could look at it that way. But again, the executive wanted to show me as a failure. That one you should know. Of course, they were not happy with my ruling on 2017. So all along, they wanted to show me as a failure. They wanted to show the Kenyans that this is a failure. We refused to do that. You know, Article 173 of the Constitution requires that as soon as the budget of the judiciary is determined and approved by Parliament, the entire sum should be deposited in the judiciary fund account. Why was that the case? That was the case because, I mean, wherever the court ruled against the executive will not come out openly and say, look, we are going to deal with these people. What they would do is to restrict the budget. When there are budget cuts, they don't give you. When budget releases, I'm sure you know about treasury releases. You require money, and it takes a long time before you get it. And before you know it, the year has come to an end, and you're not able to perform. The whole exercise is meant to control the judiciary, so that you go to the executive literally begging and for funding to do that. And that's why the Kenyans put that in the Constitution. There is no any other institution which the Constitution requires that the budget be given to them as soon as the budget is passed. Sure. And you know, take also into account the amount that is involved. The judiciary, like this financial year, have been given 23.5 billion shillings. That's literally changed. When you are talking about a budget of 4 trillion. The Kenyans were very clear about that. Let the judiciary have financial autonomy so that it can run its affairs. In fact, the amount they are given is much, much less than they require.
So when we talk about institutional capture by the executive, looking at your tenure then and current regime, would you say that that is something that the judiciary is still under the capture of the executive?
When you look at it from the financial aspect, you would say so. I know it as a fact that the judiciary asked for more than 40 billion shillings. They were only given 23.5. You know, when you are given like half what you have asked for, you now, I mean, stretch, and you can't offer the services that you require. This is why we have backlogs of cases, because the judiciary is supposed to employ enough judges and now magistrates. Kenyans are a litigious society. They file very many cases. Those cases need to be dealt with as soon as they come. I've forgotten the international ratio of judge to population. I mean, we are very far from meeting it. So with the very little funding, you will not expect the judiciary to do as well as it should do.
Yeah, because when you came to the office, you did promise Kenyans that
Yes.
you will deal with backlog cases.
Yes.
But that dragged even after you left office.
Exactly, because you know, what I was doing, and that's what most Chief Justice in Kenya have done. If the cases have, I mean, you don't have as many cases in Mombasa as you have in Kisumu, for example. With funding, you move the judges from Mombasa to Kisumu for, say, a month, and they clear those cases, and that we have done. That kind of movement will deal with cases, and that's what we call circuits. And they are there in many other countries, and it is done, it reduces the backlog. So we are also, I mean, all boils down to how much funding you have.
Some of your critics have also said, CJ Emeritus, that you didn't push as much, because you did make some rulings, or the courts will make some rulings, but the executive or agencies of government will not adhere to the court rulings or court orders. So you are seen as somebody who was not pushing as much so that these orders would be obeyed.
Yes. The judiciary did all that it was required to do. Orders were given. When they were pleasantly disobeyed, the parties involved came back to court and got contempt orders. Contempt orders are those where you actually ask for the arrest of those who have disobeyed. Once you have issued that order, a judge cannot move and go and arrest, say, a cabinet minister. It is not your duty. It is the duty of the police. Once the orders are reserved upon the police, it is the duty of the police to arrest them. And that's how it is done. But that tells you about the leadership of the country.
Yeah, because this
a
is
court order is law until it is set aside. A court order, like from any superior court, is law in the country.
Why is it that there is a failure to obey court orders in this country?
Ask the executive. Ask the executive. They don't want to be controlled. They want to be left to do as they please. So when you issue court orders, they see courts as irritants, an institution that is trying to control them, not knowing that it is actually the Kenyans who want everybody to walk or to operate within his lane. Yeah. That's what it means to be, a democratic state.
Yeah, but it seems like we are very far from it.
We are very
in this country,
yes.
and you are part of the Gen Z when they were marking the first anniversary, June this year. You went on the streets.
Yes.
To some political class, they felt like you ought not to have been on the streets.
Among the people on the streets, Paul, were mothers of young people who had been killed by the state agencies. And nothing had been done. I went to the streets in solidarity with them. In fact, even for the benefit of, for them, so that they could express their grief. And if you look at it broadly, it is for the benefit of the entire country. If we, by going to the streets, we demonstrate and it pricks the conscience of those who are involved and they are restrained. It is for the benefit of everybody. Now, when we go there, and the police had promised that they were not going to do anything. They were actually going to even escort those mothers to go and lay flowers and express their grief. What happened? They tear-gassed the mothers, and I was tear-gassed myself.
Was that the first time you were smelling the
No, I not the first time. Yes. But I had not come as close as that. So, we expressed that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. There's the aspect of two-third gender implementation. And in 2020, was it, you did rule that you did advise the president then that the parliament should be dissolved because they did not put into place the implementation of two-third gender rule as required by the Constitution. Some people felt like you are not living within a political reality of our state, just 2 years to an election.
Yes. Thank you very much. You know, the Constitution had some, what we call transitional provisions. We were coming from the old Constitution that had been literally set aside into a new Constitution. Among the transitional provisions was a provision requiring that Parliament within 5 years enacts legislation to facilitate the two-thirds gender rule in Article 27, which says no elective positions or appointed positions should have more than two-thirds gender of one gender. And I had 8 petitions. Those transitional provisions provided that in the event Parliament doesn't do that, anybody can petition the Chief Justice Remember, it is the Chief Justice. It's not even the Supreme Court. This was a petition the Constitution required to be heard by the by the Chief Justice himself. And I had those petitions, 8 of them. I got them. I served the Parliament. I served the Attorney General. I served the Executive. And I required them to make submissions, which they did. They didn't give me any good reason why they had not done it for more than 5 years. It had already passed more than 5 years. So I followed the Constitution, and I made the recommendation to the President.
What did the President say then?
The President, of course, ignored the what? The advisory.
Okay.
I did my part. I did my part. It is for the Kenyans now to ask the President to do his part. And the Kenyans were supposed to do that through Parliament.
Yeah, because between you and the former president, there was let's talk about executive, between the judiciary and the executive, there was quite a number of clashes. And in this case, people will mirror that to the ruling that was made that nullified the elections then. In where you sit, what did that ruling do to the judiciary that the judiciary has never come out of? Because it seems you are speaking to the executive, but the executive also was equally speaking to you. I remember in an instance where the president said, we shall revisit. And it seems that that statement really damaged the judiciary.
To the contrary, it didn't. To the contrary, in fact, quite a number of
in terms
judges,
of operations,
yeah,
to the face value, the Kenyans would appreciate your courage.
Yes.
But to the operational aspects of the judiciary, justice has been delayed in some instances.
In a way, yes. But that is for the Kenyans to demand. That's for the Kenyans to demand. If we were in a civilized state, that is for the Kenyans, especially the MPs, who would come up and say, no. Did anybody say I did anything wrong? We didn't do anything wrong. We were just doing what was right. Remember, for us to come and set aside the presidential election, look back to 2007, 2008, where we were. The country got to the blink of collapse. As Chief Justice, what was running in my mind was, look, I don't want to drive Kenya back to where we were in 2007 to 2008. And it could easily have gone back there. And it can easily go back there unless those who have authority exercise that authority. That's why I'm seeking leadership of this country to get everyone to follow the law. Walk within the constitutional path that you have been given.
Yeah, because going to you seeking leadership of this country, is it based from the frustration you did experience at the judiciary, or it is birthed from a point of failure of a system? Because people thought now that you've existed the judiciary, that you'll retire and then just enjoy life. Yes, but now you've come to the corridors of politics, which is a totally new space for
Very well. I agree with you. I am not a politician and I have not been one. But remember one thing. Politicians are not the only leaders. In fact, quite a number of them are useless fellows. Leaders are everywhere. The captains of industry are great leaders in this country and doing a lot of things. So leadership, don't equate leadership with politics.
Yeah.
Now, when, looking at what is happening in the country, I was really concerned. Come last year, June, when I saw the police literally shooting young people, I was horrified. And in the conversation with some people, they said, look, something should be done. At that time, I didn't even think anybody would think I would be the one to do it. And then, some people talked to me and said, CJ, you can do something about this. And I said, look, I'm not a politician. That's what I told them also initially. And they said, look, politicians are not the leaders. They are not the only leaders. You are a leader, you can do that. And I thought, yes, let me come so that we get our country back to order. My campaign is value-based. We want to reset our country to constitutionalism. What does that mean? We go back to the 2010 Constitution and implement it. We have one of the best constitutions in the world.
And that's what people say.
Yeah,
that's what people say in terms of we have the best constitution in sub-Saharan Africa, but it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, because those who come to authority don't want to implement it. In fact, they have now set up what I would call an extractive system where they simply come to loot the public resources for their own good. The constitution is put aside, and nobody wants to follow it. If we all follow the constitution, the taxpayers will pay tax. The teachers will go to class. When they have, everybody will, I mean, we are following the law. Everybody will work as is required, and the services will be offered. If we implement the constitution firmly, and we have zero tolerance to corruption, all other things will fall into place.
Yeah. We'll come to corruption. I just want to get your mind still in. If you find yourself in 2027 as the president of this country, and you have a similar clash with the judiciary as you did during your tenure, how will you deal with it?
What do you mean similar clash with the judiciary?
Let's say you find yourself in a way that you have power now, and you still want to capture the judiciary or the parliament, as we've seen with even the current executive.
That's the last thing I want to do. In fact,
that's what every politician will say.
Yeah, that's what they say, but look at my record. That's the last thing I wanted to do. I wouldn't want to come to this space at this age. I'm 74 years old. To come to this stage to want power. If I have not been corrupt before, this is not the time to come to it.
Have they ever tried to corrupt you?
That one would not have happened because I didn't allow it.
Yes.
Yeah, they tried, but I didn't allow it. So what I'm saying is, first of all, you know, I am a Christian. I believe that everybody is supposed to have what everybody has worked for, what you have worked for. You're not supposed to steal. And the worst is still in situations like, in the Kenyan leadership, they loot, literally taking everything. You know, when people talk about corruption, one thing you think is about 200 shillings given to a policeman and that of course is bad enough. But the corruption we are dealing with is budgeted corruption. You have seen it, it's scandals.
Yes.
We don't go for a month before the Auditor General comes with reports of scandals where millions of shillings, hundreds of millions of shillings, some going to billions, have been stolen. So if we can eliminate that, Kenya is a great nation. I've said that many times. Kenya is a great nation and a rich country. We can provide for ourselves and deal with our problems.
We'll come still into the issue of corruption, because this vice of corruption is across 3 arms of government.
It's a cancer, actually.
Yeah,
it's a very serious cancer.
Even the judiciary that you led has been accused of corruption.
Yes.
So how do you want to deal with it in a national level as the president of this nation, if in the judiciary you struggle to kill it?
Yes. That one, you know, we have institutions. We have the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Yes, the EACC.
The EACC. EACC, all it requires is to be supported, to be given enough budget support, to be given enough investigators and diligent investigators, and then you demand results from them.
Would you give them a prosecutorial powers?
That one is debatable. It is something that will be looked, because you see, you don't want to be the judge and the prosecutor, and that separation of powers is to some extent, all right, but it's something that can be reviewed. Because you see, if they are the ones investigating and then they go prosecuting, there might be a clash of interest.
Okay.
So once they are facilitated, they will work.
Okay.
We will demand results from them, And I can assure you they'll work. I know quite a number of officials in the EACC who are frustrated. If they were allowed to carry out their work, we will see a lot of results.
Okay. We want to come back to you just to find out more in terms of what your your vision for this country is. But before then, let me bring you like now that you have the mic. If you listen to CJ Emeritus speak, sometimes this is how they speak as politicians, but it's a totally different ballgame when they get into positions of power. What happens?
Perchance you're the one at the top. You're not the president of the nation, but the system itself is so calculated to ensure corruption goes on. So how do you get us out of that rut? Do you fire everyone? Do you fire the tens of thousands of civil servants? Where do we start? What is the action point?
You know, the action point is this. I mean, a given sum of money is budgeted for a given function. Get a system in place to find out whether that money has been used for that. If it has not, get the officers, the accounting officers, the PSS, to account. And as I told you, the Auditor General is doing a splendid job. Once the Auditor General comes with the report, all you need to do is you call the officer concerned and tell him, look, can you answer to this? I'll give you a very simple example of accountability. When I was Chief Justice, I used to get letters of people complaining that judges were not writing judgments and that they were doing. In one incident, I just called a judge. I gave him the copies of the letters that had been written to me by litigants who were complaining. The judgments had been delayed. I just gave, I had copied him to him and I told him, come and see me. When he came, I didn't even open my mouth. He said, CJ, I will deal with this. Give me 1 month, I will deal with this, and it will not happen. And exactly that's what happened. I told him, look, I don't want you to come back here. And that's what he did. So what am I talking about? If you get those kind of reports, if they disclose any criminal action, call the police, call the CID to deal with that. And you need to get 2-3 cases of that nature, and everybody will toe the line. I can assure you that.
Let me ask you this, CJ. We've seen the National Police Service, that should be an independent body, still under very strong influence of the executive. You are in the streets yourself. And some of the orders that were issued were not necessarily an independent order. It was being controlled by someone. So when we talk about independent bodies and commissions, but we still find the executive very strongly controlling them. So what's the point of having independent bodies?
Those are among the things we want to rectify, so that we remove the state capture, the executive capture of the institutions. For example, the police service. The Constitution says any appointative positions, any appointative appointative positions should be competitively filled, including those of the police, especially the very senior ones. If you advertised for the positions of the IG, you will get very many people applying. And when those people come, they know that the police is supposed to be independent. They are not supposed to serve the president. Of course, there are orders they need to take. As the commander-in-chief, there are orders they need to take. But those orders must be lawful. Don't forget that. Those orders must be lawful. And the IG himself is supposed to be independent, and he is supposed to stand up and tell the president. He says, tell him, look, Your Excellency, here, this one I cannot do because the law does not allow me to do that.
Okay. You mentioned earlier on that you went to the streets to stand with the mothers of those who are remembering their sons and daughters. But what about the Gen Z cause that actually was the reason why the mothers lost their children? What are your thoughts with regard to the fight for economic inclusion and economic justice that is, or let me say injustice, that is the cause of unemployment and a retarded economic system of growth that has caused retarded growth of entrepreneurial development?
Yeah, I mean, the Gen Zs, the way I understand their cause, the Gen Zs are not asking anybody to favor them. These are young people who have gone to school and they have done very well in their courses. Some have very good degrees. All they are asking is for a fair system, where if there are positions of employment, they are filled competitively. Mm-hmm. The Gen Zs are asking that they just want a system where you are not taken because of your surname, you are not taken because of who you know, but you are taken because of your certificate, of your own merit. The Gen Zs are asking for a system that can enable them, those with innovations, to realize their potential, come up with innovations, and so that they can get a means of a livelihood. But when they look around, the economy has literally stagnated. And look around why the economy has stagnated. When you have farmers being given sand for fertilizer, you know what that means. When you have systems which have broken down, and as I said, corruption is everywhere. You are told that the teachers cannot be paid. Even the JSS teachers who are threatening, they are not going to be paid. The private sector, the rural RUPA, are saying they are not going to offer services because they have not been paid. Mm-hmm. But there is money to be given for empowerment. Can you see the irony? There is money being given for empowerment. Mm-hmm. And you ask, where is this money coming from? It is not coming from anybody's pocket. Let nobody cheat you. This is money which has been stolen. This is money which has been taken from government departments, and is being, I mean, the voters are being bribed in advance of 2027. Yeah. So when the Gen Zs look at that, when the Gen Zs look around and see the lavish expenditure of those who are in public offices, I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. That is why they are saying, look, this is not right. And they have every right to complain. Yeah. So what I'm saying, and what I want to offer Kenyans, is a system that works. It's a system that works for everyone. You may be aware that quite a number of companies have closed down in Kenya. They have gone to neighboring countries. And yet, we have a better system, than those neighboring countries where they are going to. Why? Because they are being frustrated. You may not know, and I've spoken with a few business people. A foreigner comes to the country, wants to invest in the country. And the kind of investment is coming with will offer thousands of job opportunities. Then he says, okay, for us to process your papers and get you to work, there is something you need to do. Mm-hmm. Give us shares. Somebody in authority is asking for shares for an investor who is coming to the country. And any sensible investor will say, okay, I came here to make profit. I didn't come here to give shares to people for nothing. And this is not a joke. It is happening. And that is what has brought the economy to where we are.
All right. We'll speak more to the economy and employment, and maybe a bit of, we are also struggling with a lot of debt as a nation. Mm. How would you address that? Mm. So we want to do that after the break, and as we also get more comments from our panel here in studio and some questions also from the audience members. If the Gen Z movement didn't happen, would you vie for presidency?
I would still have
that thought.
Yes,
Take a break. When we come back, we pick it from there. This is Crosstalk. We are privileged today to have CJ Emeritus, who is vying and has shown his intention to vie for the presidency of this great nation. The question is, does he have what it takes to lead Kenya?
We are living in a lost and broken world, constantly bombarded by messages of hate and atrocities. But with God, we can overcome. Find hope and restoration on the go through life-changing shows on the Family Media app.
And then you will lose yourself and gain the world. And Jesus said, what good is it?
Get to stream Family TV and Family Radio 316 straight from your phone. Catch up on a show you missed or create video streaming playlists by saving and watching.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. Today, we have CJ Emeritus David Maraga, who is sharing with us his intention to lead this country. Before the break, I did ask you, if Gen Z did not happen in this country, would you still desire to vie for presidency?
I think yes, I would still have done that because of what is going on in the country. Okay. I mean, the kind of the way the government is working. Look at SHA, look at the schools. I mean, things are. I mean, everything is almost crumbling down. Yeah.
All right, Takin, a question or comment to what CJ said?
So my question is, we've talked about a system, but then as a person, you also have principles. So how would you balance the need to exert your own principles? You know, because as a president, you're not just an individual. The presidency is a system. The presidency is not you, it's the ministers, it's everything. So how would you balance the need to exert your own principles, at the same time also let the system and the constitution, as you say, function?
If you're talking about the system, the existing system, that one we will break because it is not the right system. The system I'm saying that we must follow is a system which is serving the public. Look at, for example, the Constitution says the all authority emanates from the Kenyan people. What we have is the reverse. It's like all authorities is emanating from those in power, and the Kenyans are supposed to serve them. We wanted to break that. We want to break that, and I will stand firm and say, look, we must follow the Constitution, so that we break that kind of system. As I said, which is extractive. People are there to continue stealing and looting from the public. That system must be broken.
As you are vying for presidency, but you also have devolved government systems. We have, you know, governors. We have, and then governance in small units. What are you doing towards ensuring that people who share in your principles also are putting themselves up for elective positions, so that as we might have the perfect president, but for me, my area MCA is the worst, or my governor is not doing anything. So in your capacity as a presidential candidate, and the kind of influence that you have, what are you doing about influencing more people who have that caliber to lead, to put themselves up for elective positions?
Thank you very much. One of the areas we are focusing on is to get young people into leadership. Young people who don't have money but have leadership qualities. We are encouraging them to vie for positions in the county governments. We are encouraging them to vie for positions even in the national government. So that I mean, each group, each population group is represented in government. We want ladies to vie for their positions. So I am encouraging, and we have quite a number of young people who have shown interest to run for positions, and we are going to do everything we can to support them so that they are also represented.
Are you going to run with a political party or as an independent, and which party will this be?
I will be unveiling the party in the next few months.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We know that this is a very expensive venture. Who is funding your political campaign?
Paul, I'm going to come to you.
Okay. You already.
I'm going to crowdfund. I'm going to crowdfund, and I can assure you it is going to work. Why? Because what I'm offering is a servant leadership to the Kenyans. I want Kenyans to trust me. If the Kenyans trust me, and there are all indications they will crowdfund. I am not going to seek funding to give handouts.
Okay.
That one I'm not going to do. Even if you gave me and you gave me into billions, I will not give handouts, because that's bribery. That's bribing those people to vote for me. All that I will require is money for logistics to move around, go and reach all the parts of the country, and campaign and sell my vision to the people.
What will be your take on debt position of Kenya as a country?
Yes,
and how would you deal with that?
That is one other area I will attend immediately. You know, as we speak, more than 70% of what we collect goes to pay debts. How can you develop? How can a country develop? One of the major areas I will focus on immediately is to get an audit of the public debt and find ways of restructuring that debt. Stop borrowing. Stop borrowing unless it is absolutely necessary. And when before you even borrow, you get Parliament to approve it, so that the people understand that you need this money to run. Okay. Where we have reached now is the government has borrowed so much money, an equivalent of more than $1 trillion every year. $1 trillion every year. Because it came in when the public debt was 8.7. Now it is more than 11.8 trillion shillings. Quite a bit of that, if not more, most, is from the local banks. What has that done? It has literally moved money from the economy. The banks are happy to lend government because there is no default, as opposed to individuals. And that has made borrowing extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And even small businessmen and women are not able to borrow. And as a result, they can't move. Unless you stop that kind of borrowing, there's not going to be money in the economy.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get some.
I would never take that kind of those kind of conditions.
I'd love to commend the former CJ for his fidelity to the Constitution. That is something I quite also uphold, and that is something that the Gen Zs have been asking for the longest time. When we say accountability and austerity measures that we need to have as a country, and the odious debt that we have as a country, what is his plan? What steps is he going to take? Will he reclaim the debts when he says that he'll audit? We've had these cases of audit, but to no action. Thank you.
We will get the institutions to work. The auditor general comes up with reports every year. The control of budget comes and says, look, this money is not being allocated properly. Money is being used for traveling all over the place. To other countries, and that, giving Kenyans no value for that money. So what we are going to do is, especially the money which has been borrowed, odious, we call it odious debt, that has been borrowed, and that has not been used for any project that can be seen. Where the Auditor General, the reports will come, you let the ESCC to do its work. Okay. Tell them, look, we want this money recovered. If you get the details, you will know that some money is going to people's pockets. Action will be taken against them.
And those are the actions we are going to
do. And the beauty is that, a crime has no limitation period.
The no expiry date.
Yes.
Those are the things that you would want to do within the first 100 days in office?
You can't do that in 100 days.
You will do in 3 years?
Yes, in 3 years you will do that. What I can assure you will be done in 100 days is to get the accounting officers and read aloud the act to them. Tell them, look, any money that is going to, is not going to go into the project it is meant for, you will be liable personally.
Okay.
And tell them that, I'm going to take action. Right. As I told you, you just need to get 2-3 people, put them behind the bars, the others will toe the line.
But that only happens with small fish, as they call it. Big fish will always get
accounting officers in ministries are PSS.
Yes,
those are not small people.
But we've seen them in the corridors of courts, but they always come out. Let's get another question from Mary.
There is a lot that comes with that. The investigations are short investigations that are carried out at the end of the day. In fact, the cases are terminated at the investigation stage.
Yeah, unfortunate. Eric?
Okay, thank you for this opportunity to engage with the former CJ Maraga. I think this is more than an interview. It's an opportunity for the youth to participate in our democratic tradition, where we don't just only watch as history unfolds, we get to take part in the conversations that shape it. I love that we're on the topic of economic justice. As we've said, Kenya's debt now is over 11.8 trillion. So I'd like to know how exactly you plan on depreciating that. And when it comes to the business community, our annual business cycles create this air of uncertainty for them, such that they're not able to plan and invest for the long term. Over and above that, my last question is, when you look at, and this is still for the business community, when you look at the cost of power, I think Kenya is the second highest in Africa, about $0.22 per kilowatt hour. That is very high. It also stifles business and innovation. So how would you go about guaranteeing Kenyans and even households low-cost power that is reliable?
Yeah. Thank you very much. You know, a lot of that power comes from independent power suppliers with contracts that are very, very onerous. Those are among the things I will look at immediately and review whether or not that is serving the economy. That is serving the economy. I mean, if the contracts are unconscionable, the lawyer will tell you here, if the contracts are unconscionable, you will have to deal with that. I mean, you can't let the country stagnate because there are contracts that are being enforced. So those are among the things that we will look at and look generally at the business environment. What is creating here? If you talk to the businessmen out there in the streets, they will tell you this company is the only one which is getting business from government. If it is steel is being bought from 1 or 2 companies. The others are literally shutting down. Those are the kind of things you need to deal with. Okay. And you should, if you find out who are the owners of that steel company, you will come around and find, you will be surprised to know that people in government are having shares in that, and that's why it is happening like that. That's the system we must break. That's the system I want Kenyans to trust that we must break. And if you, and I'm sure the Kenyans who will support me, I will get information and we will deal with those and break those systems so that we have, an environment where every businessman or woman just competes competitively with others, right. and you get your share.
Okay, let's get it from Minority Leader. Maybe a question, then.
Thank you very much. 3 questions really quick. Chief Justice, I would like to know from you exactly the specific steps you intend to take to actually capture power and become president. Reason being, you are talking about a lot of very beautiful things, good things for this country, but they might end up remaining just that if you don't capture power. Your opponents are using a lot of mobilization skills, including resources, including what you are calling bribing, to get power. So the idea is to get power first, then implement those good things. Are you going to compromise? Because I'm afraid if you don't, if you are not willing to get to the public and entice, let me not say corruption because it's a word that's allergic to you, to the public. Yes. Unfortunately, that's the society that we are in. But then, so what are you going to do? But then before I go, the society that we are, boards of management overseeing schools, boards of management overseeing hospitals. What is your view if I would propose that we create boards of management to oversee police stations? Because I believe if police stations are overseen by a board of management from the local community, issues of like what happened to Ojwang probably will not be occurring. Yes.
Thank you very much. You have talked about getting power. And you are saying, unless I induce Kenyans, I'm not going to get power. Let me tell you where we have reached. Read the public mood correctly. We are going to stop. We have reached what we call the critical juncture. The Kenyans have reached that critical juncture where they have said, look, enough is enough. These people are going to bribe, but the Gen Zs are very clear in their minds. They are very clear in their minds. Whatever amount, whatever you do, they are going to vote for a candidate they think who will espouse their interests. In this coming election, we are going to stop this. Money is not going to be the factor that is going to give people votes. This time, if we don't get it correctly, I don't think we are going to get it correct any other time. That's where we have reached.
All right. He's talked about board of management, but I want
the board of management. Yeah, you talked about the police. There is already there in the police National Police Service Act, oversight by the community. As I told you, what we need is to enforce the law. We have laws that are kept in the shelves, and nobody's looking at them.
All right. Well, there, as you listen to CJ Emeritus, what would you say as you look at the state of the nation and looking forward? What would you say the Kenyan people need now?
I think that the loudest voice right now is the voice of the Gen Z. And I've always been convicted that every generation has an assignment, and that assignment usually poses as a challenge to them. For this generation, it is economic inclusion, and it is economic justice. The first liberation in Kenya was for independence. The second one was for multi-partyism. This third one is for socioeconomic liberation. And that is why the fight was around a financial bill. And therefore, I tend to agree with the CJ that the mood has changed. The thought of the generations have changed. And I would say that the most important thing, I think we cannot say this is how Kenya has always been done, because we've never had demonstrations of a finance bill. So we cannot use the past really to predict the future. However, it is important to now realize that it is not about, it's no longer about democratic parties. It is now about socioeconomic parties. Right. Yes. And I hope that it is around the same that you would then map out and draw out your political party.
Exactly.
Thank you. Before you take that, I want just to listen to you now, because you are a very strong, committed Christian. What is the role of faith in leadership? Because you are coming from a background of a presidency that rode on the shoulders of the church. And now it seems like he's the one that we need to kick out immediately. CJ, what is the place of our faith?
When you speak about our Christian faith, we are talking about virtues that guide us. We're talking about values that establish the boundaries we play within. And you're talking about the principles that we bring to the table. So is your manifesto or your set of policies, are you riding on your Christian faith, or are you riding on the Constitution of Kenya? Which is the alignment? Do they work together? And my next question, what will be the role of the church in your government or in your tenure if you assume presidency?
Thank you very much. Kenya is a secular nation. Kenya is a secular nation. there is freedom of worship given to everyone. My faith, you said what my faith has to do with me. As far as I'm concerned, a Christian who is a practicing Christian, whose faith is founded on the Bible, will be a very good leader. Because honesty is a demand, is what God demands. If your faith is anything to go by, and you are saying you are a Christian, the Bible says don't steal. If you are a Christian and you know what that means, stealing, you know what that means, it's even stealing time. Is stealing time, I mean stealing. If you know what that means and you live by that, in fact, you will be the best leader. The problem is we trumpet our faith, our professed faith, and we don't act. My conviction, as I said, I'm not a politician. Coming to this space, I want to offer servant leadership, and I want the greatest thing I will want from the Kenyans is to trust me.
All right.
And I will do everything I can to make sure that the Kenyans trust me. And the moment they trust me, I will not take that for granted. I will want to serve them. What will I want to serve? They will have given me authority. You know, they will have given me authority. I will exercise that authority for their own benefit.
Wow.
Yes.
The moment you put that Bible down.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. There is a question of what will be the role of church.
The role of the church. I mean, as I said, Kenya is a secular nation. Support me so that we live by our Christian values. We live by our Christian values. The society, the church is not going to be like, now I create a ministry of churches. Or I give favoritism to churches. They are all Kenyans. In fact, I would want to tell them to, in their spaces, in their churches, and to even call out government where we are not doing right. Some of the things they might call out as things which may have not even come to my attention, and I will pick from there and seek to rectify. Enough is enough. We must stop this stealing, and let's get a government that works for the people, and we get a system that supports the Kenyans.
All right. Thank you so much, Bwana CJ Emeritus, because this is an amazing conversation, and I think we will still pick it up once we see your manifesto as well.
Yes.
And see if it aligns with the aspiration of what Kenyans want.
Yes.
And also what the Gen Zs generally will desire to have. Because you are presenting yourself as the Gen Z president.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
and they are supporting me. You know, I have listened. Some people have told me, some people say, look, CJ, I have not even decided who I'm voting for, but in my house, you have the Gen Zs have told me they are voting for you, and I'm honored by that.
Which is a good thing, because then you are not coming with a tribe and saying that based on this tribe, which our political issues have always been tribal-based, somebody would ask, which tribe are you coming with? And I'm happy that this is a tribeless generation.
Yes.
I think that's where Kenyans are. Thank you so much for creating time for us.
Yes.
And we look forward to still hosting you here and questioning you based on the manifesto that you are going to release to us.
Thank you. One last minute,
Yes.
if you can give me a minute. I want to appeal to you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to appeal to the Kenyans. Where we have reached, we need a fundamental change to the governance of this country. Unless we kill the cancer of corruption, it is going to kill us. Unless we kill the cancer of impunity, where those in power can do anything they want to do because they know nothing will happen, no action will be taken against them, we are going to lose this country. We are going to lose this country. And I'm appealing to Kenyans. I have offered myself to serve you. Give me an opportunity. Those, the youths, the Gen Zs, who have not registered, please register, get your IDs and register. We're starting the voter registration next week. Register and have, that's the weapon you have, so that we remove this government, which is so oppressive. Trust me, and I will not let you down.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
What is one thing that you like about this government?
One thing I like about this government, I don't know whether there is anything I like about this government.
Thank you so much, CJ. That's the right point to leave it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, my panel and guest as well,
Yes.
for being part of this conversation. You've been watching Crosstalk, and it's amazing just to hear the aspirations that CJ Emeritus has for this nation. The decision is out there for you. There are many candidates that have thrown in their intention to vie for the presidency of this country. That decision lies on you. Will you go out and vote? Because when you don't, then you put bad leaders into positions of power. Until next time, bye-bye for now.